Welcome, crew, to What Are Your Three, a Channel 3 podcast, where we take a member of the Channel 3 community, discuss 3 games of their choosing, go through some honorable mentions and some other odds and ends for a nice little video game discussion. I'm Dan Tucker, and with me as always... This is episode 45, and we've broken tradition. Part of which is...
Bizarre world.
Yeah, part of which is my fault. Part of which is also now 3 separate voices have been heard on here, and we are breaking tradition with episode 45. Ray could not record due to health, and then he was heading on a little family time. But in the interest of getting ahead of the holiday season, still due to my actual life, we were using a sub. So with me as always is not El Ray tonight, but rather Ender Phoenix, Maticon. For I guess we got it. Our guest was confused when I referred to him as just Matt or as Ender Phoenix and not as Maticon. I'm not making Starscream jokes. We're not doing that here tonight. You can. I don't
just
care.
Made one.
Yeah, I got nothing. Well,
it's all
Matt,
good.
Welcome.
You had to call in a ringer. I'm here to help. Always here to help our Channel 3 brethren to get the podcast out. Make sure it's done on time. But it's not about me tonight. It's about our guest. And today's guest, he's been a fellow podcaster, does some light streaming on Twitch. He does YouTube video reactions and reviews. He also has a burgeoning business on Redbubble for his stickers. And to fix my egregious error from last time I was on the show, I've prepared something special for this guest tonight. Fixing old Game Boys. A real-life Power Ranger. He's the Bearded Nerd. Welcome, Zach.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1. Perfect. Nailed it.
I do a lot of things. All of them.
Most importantly, you got a haiku dedicated to you.
Oh, that's true. I feel very special now. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I got a lot of junk back for not having a haiku on the episode I was on, so I figured I might as well make it extra special for you tonight.
Oh, you're so sweet.
At some point, Matt moved into the haiku reviews. It was not always his bit, but within short order, it became his bit, and then he was not prepared with a haiku, so here he is. However many episodes, I can't remember what number yours was, but here we are, these episodes later, and all is right with the world. But we're not here to talk about you, Matt. We're here to talk about Halo 3 to start things off. Do we want to give the theme out of your list? Do you want to start off with that, or are we just going to kind of roll and kind of wander into your theme?
Okay, so obviously in honor of Channel 3, I picked my games with the best threes. So Halo 3 was actually the first game. Believe it or not, and all of these have some significance to me. So Halo 3 was the first FPS game that I ever played. So it was the game that actually got me to transition. I grew up and I had a PlayStation and then a PlayStation 2, and then I played Halo 3 at a buddy's house and fell in love, and my next console went not a PS3 to an Xbox 360. So fell in love with the franchise, like as a whole, and really delved really deep into it. I have a whole shelf over there devoted to nothing but Halo. It needs to be 2 shelves because it's just stacked up with so much stuff that I don't know. I'm surprised it hasn't gave away yet. And then Super Mario Bros. 3 was actually the first video game that I
hold on. Wait. We're gonna stick with Halo for a minute here.
Hands up, don't shoot.
I gotta tell you. Well, I gotta tell you, first of all, your shelf's not done yet because we just had a news article drop, and there's a $150 Mega Block set that just released.
I saw it. I want
the Bobo
it.
Lego set.
The 360 Lego set with I want it. I want it so bad. For
those who have not seen, if you go to the news page, it's a Mega Block. So it's the Legos that never quite connect right. It's that other brand.
I think it drops on the 8th. I thought it was.
Is that what the date is? I just saw the build of it.
I think it's the 8th.
The controller looks really good. I gotta say, for the 360. So you get a 360, the controller, and Halo 3 cartridge for that thing. So it's $150, but I think it's looking like you got a spot ready to go over there on the shelf for it.
It is definitely out of stock already.
Yeah, that's
pre-orders out of stock. Coming October 8th. Yep, pre-orders have sold out for Target, and that was the exclusive place to pick it up. So, hey Matt, I need you to work some magic on Temu and find it for me.
I am going to keep a very close eye. Number one, I will not shop at Temu. This has been a discussion across multiple channels, but I will keep an eye on some of my other sites for you, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, if you try to order that thing on Temu, you're going to get an actual Xbox 360 just dead from the red ring of death. It's just going to melt it on your shelf there.
Be nice. There's still an Xbox 360 next to me. You ready? Here, I got you. Hear the ding?
It turned on.
No, I was opening and closing the tray.
There it is.
There it was. There we got the ding.
The dings. I had to hit it a bunch of times because
use that as the sensor, Dan.
I had to be really quiet.
Oh my
god! But that wasn't the old one. That's the slim model.
Well, hey, I want to ask you about Halo 3. I got a couple questions, and we'll get over to Mario 3. If you're not, that is a favorite of mine. We're gonna get there, but I want to ask you. So, you said this was your transition. You moved from the Xbox, the PlayStation, over to the Xbox. You became an Xbox player at that point. Had you played Halo 1, Halo 2, other Xbox games, or was this just
Nope.
This was it. Wow.
This was the very first person shooter game and Xbox exclusive that I ever played. Never played Gears of War, never played anything else, and sat down and my buddy and I played through the Halo 3 campaign co-op and in a weekend together, and I just like fell in love with the genre of first person shooters as a whole. But Halo's universe just like really took me by surprise because I grew up and my grandfather watched a lot of sci-fi films and stuff like that. So it was kind of neat to finally get like a game that had a story outside of what I was used to playing, because I played a lot of platformers and most platformers don't have stories. And then the other games I played were like action adventure games. Like I played The Force Unleashed before that, and then I played like rinky dink games like racing games. And then the only other thing that had a story that I played before that were like the WWE SmackDown versus Raw games. So they had a story, but they also didn't have a story.
Yeah, the rich narrative feature of the wrestling games of the end of the 90s and 2000s.
Create a character, then you took your character through the storyline. And that's still the thing. If they always give us good creative character storylines for the most part. So you never got to experience the Duke then. So you really moved into the Xbox 360 being the first controller. That probably helped too. To an extent. So it was funny actually. After that, my cousin still had an Xbox and he lived with my grandmother. So when we go over there, it was funny. I actually saw him playing Halo 2. So I played Halo 2 with him after that, which was a lot of fun. And then he got a 360 and started playing Halo Online there. And I was like, "Can I play?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "You probably wouldn't be very good." But he was 17-year-old teenage cousin, and I was like 12-year-old little cousin that knew nothing. Yeah, pretty much.
It was probably for the best. He was protecting you from the 360 online scene. That's not somewhere for a 12-year-old to be wandering.
Oh, it's okay. I still figured it out once I got so that was the funny thing too. Was right after that following Christmas, like that's all I talked about the rest of the year. Was I wanted a 360, and it was funny because I was under the impression that I would never get another video game from my parents ever again, because in 2008, my father bought me a brand new copy of SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, and I want to say like 6 months later, after I finished it and got bored with it, I traded it into GameStop, and he was very, very upset because he was like, "You traded in a $60 game, and how much did they give you for it? They only gave you $20 for it. What is wrong with you?" And he was so upset. He was like, "I'll never buy you another video game for Christmas ever again." So I was under the impression I wouldn't get it, and then Christmas rolled around and I opened up everything and I was super happy. I was, not ungrateful. And then I opened that last package and I literally just started crying. I was so happy. And then that also delved into me figuring out a couple months later how to bridge the internet connection between my laptop and a white Xbox 360 to give my Xbox 360 a wireless adapter essentially and playing Halo Online.
Listen, I'm happy to hear you were doing all of that, but I'm happier that Matt's here, so I don't have you and Ray ganging up on me. But Matt and I are old, and
you're a Nintendo shill.
No. Oh no, not that. Well, yes, but not that part. But I just mean the Matt. By this point, Matt and I were well graduated off in the working world, and meanwhile you're putting all this together and stringing pieces together on your own. Nothing wrong with that, but this is where Ray would usually come in and drop an elbow on me and point out my age. So I'm grateful.
Well, I go into the fact that you're saying that, Halo 3 was your first Halo experience. You didn't own the original Xbox, which is where we all cut our teeth, learning, oh, here's how a FPS is supposed to be played with a controller and joysticks for aiming and turning. Whereas, I go back to some really old games. If you remember on there was a game on Genesis called Zero Tolerance where you're using the D-pad to move back and forth and turning. It was insane. Halo really was that revolution of first-person shooter on a console. But since you experienced it on Xbox 360, you got, like Dan said, a premium experience on the controller. So my question to you is, when you went through and played co-op, or maybe when you did it normally, did you ever try the legendary difficulty? Did you ever make it through that?
As a kid, no. I got so frustrated with it, and I think that was the first time I'd ever broken a controller in my life. Because I memorized that campaign from front to freaking back, like it was a person from the 70s memorizing a Pac-Man. I memorized it and still couldn't get past it, and it made me so upset. And I think to this day, the only time that I've ever beat Halo campaign on Legendary is if it's co-op. I don't think I've ever done it solo by myself.
I'm right there with you in that club.
Well, it's just at this point in time, I'm enjoying how rich the story is, and that's the thing for me with so staying in the Halo realm, Halo Infinite. Everyone dogged on the multiplayer not being new and it being boring, and everyone dogged on it missing this feature and that feature, and I'm just like, man, I'm just happy that it gave me a good story. It gave me a little bit of redemption from the last story. I get they were following the storyline in the last game, but I needed more Master Chief in my life. Locke's cool and all, but he's not he's a side character. I hate to say it. He's a side character. They tried making him a main character. It just didn't work. Dan's just sitting there with a grin on his face.
You're up, Matt. We're moving on.
Okay, cool. So moving on to the next game, you already, let the cat out of the bag, but that's okay. So your next game is Super Mario Brothers 3, a 4.8 on Channel 3 with over 118 reviews. There's some who say that out of all of the 8-bit Marios, that this is the best one. How do you feel about that?
Yes, so I've played them all. I have played I'm pretty sure I played every Mario they ever released. So my first exposure to video games, as I can remember, I had to have been like 3 years old. Had to have been, because I remember my mom had a Nintendo and she had 3 games for it. She had Super Mario Brothers 3, The Legend of Zelda, and I do not remember the third game. I think it was Dr. Mario, if I'm remembering right. And I put in Super Mario Bros. 3, and that is when I knew that I was going to play video games from then on. I played that game so many times. I think my fastest speed run is I think I've speed run that game in 16 minutes before. I know the fastest speed run's like 6 or 7 minutes. It's something. It's like half that time. It's like stupid, but I know that game front and back. I could probably play it blindfolded. Don't quote me on that, because it's still been a long time. But every time, so it's like my comfort game when I get bored at this point. Like if I'm really bored and I just need something to play really fast, I'll literally just it's so convenient now on the Switch. I just load it up on the online service, and I'll just sit down and I'll play through it as fast as I can play through it.
This is where I would tell Ray to remind me we need to do a challenge and a tagline for play Mario 3 blindfolded on stream, man.
I've seen the speedrunners do it, and it is insane.
I don't know if maybe back in the day when I was playing it, that was the only game I had to play. I could probably have done it when I was a kid, but now I don't know. I just feel I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm old, but I feel old.
You give it a second run. You need one run for the muscle memory to kick in. And then you can do the second run blindfolded once you remember it.
No, I need one run on an original NES controller.
Oh yes, of course.
It's not the same on new controllers.
It is not. No,
it doesn't feel right because I'm like now that we use joysticks like religiously. That's all we like. We don't use D-pads for anything but like secondary actions,
menu options, and yeah.
It's so I'm like, oh, it feels weird not trying to use the thumbstick to play it now.
So it sounds like at 16 minutes you made judicious use of the whistles.
Oh,
did you ever try going through the game start to finish, no whistles?
Yeah, of course. That was the only game I had to play as a kid, and I didn't play Zelda because it was as a 3-year-old not being able to read, it was kind of boring.
All right, I'll see a 3-year-old. I'll allow having that's a good rationale for it. The adults who still come at Zelda, no. Take it easy.
I'll come at Zelda right now. Tears of the Kingdom isn't a real Zelda game. Changed my mind.
We're not doing this. Is not Loot Bros. This is not
true.
Yeah,
you can't.
Yeah. I'm
gonna start calling you tricky.
Take that over to Proving Gamer. They'll be ready for that discussion over there. Speaking
of combative nature, did you ever make use of the 2-player mode in Super Mario Bros. 3?
I did. So it was actually funny. So after I discovered that, I started going to my grandmother's house quite a bit. She had a Super Nintendo, which is where she had Super Mario All-Stars, which is where I gained my exposure to most of the other Mario games that were out at the time. So she had Super Mario All-Stars and Super Mario World. So that was where I got to kind of dig my teeth into the rest of the genre. And she had other games too, but that was where I really got to sink in. And it was funny because my grandmother, you never thought she would be like a video game player. Like she doesn't look like she's an old Southern lady that they went to church and it was all about Jesus and Southern cooking. That was it. And sometimes I could get her to, and she would be like, "Oh yeah." So we'd literally sit on her bed and we'd play Super Mario Brothers 3 together. And then I'd laugh so hard. I remember because I'd laugh so hard every time I went in. And she knew that as a 4-year-old, I was still better at it than her. And I'd go in and I just do the little battle things and take her items from her.
I was going to say,
she's just trying to cross to get to level 3, and there you are, just hitting the button as she crosses over.
I'm going to say, how often did you turn snatch from?
So much, and that was funny too because I was like, I didn't know what the original Mario Brothers was at the time either, so I didn't know that was the direct translation essentially to that. So when I got older, I appreciated it a little bit more.
How often would you say, did you try to go for the white mushroom houses every time, or how successful were you in getting those?
I've completed the game like completely, like in today's standards, what would be 100% more times than I can count on both hands. It like I said, when that's the only game that's in your household as a kid, and you're not going to school, and that's like all you have to do, you definitely put some time into it.
Just gotta leave that thing running. No save states. Gotta leave it burning.
Yeah, pretty much. And it was so upsetting too because I remember when I was 7 at the time, my mother ended up selling the Nintendo in a garage sale with all that stuff, and I told her I wanted it and I wanted to keep it, and she still sold it. So.
What did they expect was going to happen with Halo 3 then? Or what was going to happen with the wrestling game? You learned the lesson early. It was an early childhood trauma that caused you to sell that wrestling game. I learned it from you, Mom!
That's like I said, that was the worst part. Is just like, and then at GameStop as a kid, you're just like, oh, I can get the new game that I want, and then you have to trade in all your other old games,
everything I own, in order to get one game.
Yep.
Oh.
For the record, Zach may be a little too young for the "I learned it from watching you" comment.
Oh no, I know that was only for we olds that will the Jay Kleins of the world and whatnot. Anybody over 38 is going to get that joke. All right though, let's move on to your third game. Following up with the number 3 theme that we've got going here, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, 4.2 rated on the site. Still a game 8 years later, still popping off.
You want to know why? Because for the exact same reasons on my list, it had the best zombies.
Oh,
Period.
so we're because that's been today alone. That's been a little bit of a hot topic with. We'll get to that with a future game. But so tell me what makes the best zombies.
So I mean, just the Zombie Chronicles DLC, just being able to download all of the old maps and play all the old maps, but in a remastered, revitalized setting with the new features that Black Ops 3 had, like the Gobblegum system and stuff was just fantastic, and it's still a game that my wife and I sit down and play together now. So that's about the only first person shooter game I can get her to play with me. She's tried Apex, she's tried everything else that I play. She despises it. She's not a competitive shooter gamer. She's a casual zombies player, but when she plays it, she's like I've never seen my wife more competitive than when we're playing a game of zombies, ever. Like she's like, you suck, and she just goes to town. Like she'll berate me for not opening a door. She'll berate me for not knowing like all of the Easter eggs on the map, and I'm like, this isn't my favorite thing in the world. I enjoy playing it with you, but this is not my favorite thing. I'm not going to go that in depth into it.
I don't want to hear about your favorite thing. Just open the door, coward. Is that what you're basically getting?
Yeah. She's like, I don't care. You have the money. Go open the door. I'm okay.
Yes, dear.
Find this part. Okay.
Some people may just feel, to say that you're lucky to have a loved one that will play games with you. I mean, I do too. I don't know, Tucker. What's your experience?
Mine is Rock Band 4, and that's it. So that's the extent of it.
I wish I can't. I start singing at any point in time, and my wife's like, gives me a dirty look. You're distracting me. I can't listen to them sing and hear you sing at the same time. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I really enjoy this song.
Oh my god. So have they just not captured it? Is the fact that they did so much pulling back the older iteration? Because you're not the only one who feels this way about Black Ops 3. Like, this is still actively played by a lot of people. I didn't realize the zombies was that big for everybody. It feels like every iteration since there has just kind of been. Nobody hates Call of Duty more than Call of Duty fans. That's rule number one for Call of Duty. I don't know what that does, but like every iteration since then, there's been this or there's been that. I mean, Modern Warfare 2's been fairly positively received, but still Black Ops 3. And I don't know if it's also like, I know I have it, like PlayStation just gives it to you for free, and I don't know if that has something to do with it, that like all the consoles just kind of gave it to you, and it's still out there, the online's still running. Is that part of it too?
I think now that the revitalization has kind of come since Xbox and Microsoft bought Activision, and they put in the effort to fix the servers on all of the old games. That's why we've seen a resurgence in playing multiplayer on the old games too. The multiplayer was good for the time. I think it's more of a nostalgia thing though at this point, because I'm 27. Yeah. I know I'm young.
By the time this episode drops, I'll be 40. So and Matt's ahead of me. So yeah, we're
over the hill. Congratulations, Dan. You're going to be a 50% through your lifespan.
Yeah, best case scenario. The Grays,
if we're lucky,
the Grays are coming in further.
I'd say it's and then that's what I told somebody recently. They turned 60, and I was like, "Hey, guess what? You're 75% of the way through your life," and they're like, "I hate you."
I dig that math. I'm good with that.
You got another 20 good years in you. Maybe not good.
Good is a stretch.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's a real big nostalgia thing because those were the games that when I was growing up, and you guys were probably like just getting like
we were on second marriages and
getting ready to graduate college and stuff like that. Granted, so those were games where you got to be adults and have fun with your friends as a young adult. That was your thing, like So it's people from, I'd consider you guys like the beginning of the generation that I caught the tail end of.
Yeah, Matt and I were in our college apartment strapping the modem to PlayStation 2s and trying to use the Ethernet. And what was the name of that apartment? Ashwood? Was it the
Ashwood?
Yeah. We were strapping it and organizing SOCOM games across our apartment.
I was about to say trying to play SOCOM online.
See, no, we made it easy. We just played Smash Brothers Melee on GameCube. That didn't need to do anything special for that.
Yeah, still had the 4-person N64 running around too.
That's in storage somewhere with my parents, and I'll
Well,
probably never
careful,
see
your
it
mom
again.
might take it to a yard sale. You better watch it.
Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if they've already sold it.
Ouch.
Matt, get hold of his parents. Give me that 64.
Matt knows the backstory to that one.
Yeah.
Moving
Don't
on.
need to go into that here.
Yeah. We're good.
This
We're
is a
good.
happy podcast.
It's a happy tree. But you want to know? It was a really pretty. It was the really pretty translucent orange one, though.
Oh,
Ooh.
it's that
Hey,
and the
now-
Donkey Kong green one are the two rough ones to get a hold of.
I was at a flea market by me, and somebody had the Donkey Kong green N64, and it was
In
the,
rough shape.
like we've said on the Loop Bros multiple times. New Jersey stinks for used game market. Everybody knows what they have, and they market it appropriately.
That's the same way here. And that, like I said, that's the biggest disparity now is flea markets are different everywhere. But yeah, so nostalgia. I think that's the biggest thing with all these games. They're bringing them back. It's a nostalgia factor, and also the fact that so we as adults now we have kids. So minus Matt. Matt doesn't have kids because I don't know. He's something.
He is his wife's kid. That's
Accurate.
That's fair. I mean, you see the Legos and the Gundam in the background, and yeah.
But listen, to tell you the truth, that's what's being blocked by the Fall Guys picture behind me. It's just four folding tables of Legos behind me.
I can't say anything. This keyboard's made out of Legos.
Whoa, nice.
So I play with Legos too. It's okay. And we were just talking about getting a Lego Xbox 360. So
There's just an extent I take it to. See, my Lego extent is your mechanical keyboard, Zach.
no, I want that. See, and they've really done a good job at picking up on everyone's nostalgia because I want the Pac-Man machine that moves. I want the Nintendo Nintendo that has a TV that you can turn and it shows Mario jumping on it.
It's right on the other side of the laptop here. The Nintendo's back here. I can't.
That costs more than an actual working NES these days.
Right? I was so mad too because I went to the first time I ever noticed that they even had stuff like that was I went to one of the flea markets out here. And basically, it's a bunch of booths where they put numbers on stuff and a price, and then you take it up to the front and pay for it. But I saw it and it was like $260, and I was like, and it was already put together. I was like, that just loses the fun.
That takes the
factor.
fun. What is it? No, that was father son bonding time for me. I still have my Horizon tall neck that we're gonna do as a father son project. I want that thing built already.
You
I'm not
haven't
paying
built
for
that one
labor
yet?
on top of this.
It was, but I was like, man, I know Lego sets are ridiculous, but you're selling this in a flea market, man. You could have probably already sold this on eBay. Why are we slacking here? And that's the worst part is you can't haggle with them. I can't be like, I'll give you $100 cash and I'll get it out of your booth because it was taking up the whole bottom section of their glass case.
All right, I'm ending this misery. So we had a trio of threes. We're going into you have an honorable mention here. Is this an honorable mention because it doesn't quite fit the theme since technically it's 6 and not 3?
No, that's three.
We're calling it Final
That's three.
Fantasy 3?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Well, we now have a new
Yeah.
new daily question.
All right, so Final Fantasy 3, Super Nintendo, I assume?
Yeah. So it was my first
Final Fantasy
exposure.
6. So Final Fantasy 6 on the Super Nintendo, also known as Final Fantasy 3 in the US. Yes. Sorry, I'm kidding. I'm done with this joke. I'm done. I'm out. So Final Fantasy 3.
It was my first exposure to anything outside of a platformer, and it was the first game that I ever actually had to put any effort into reading.
This is an interesting follow up to the Zelda conversation earlier. Now,
Yeah. So ironically enough, I actually learned how to read like a year after I started playing video games. I guess I really wanted to play other things because it was funny. I started actually reading small books to my mom instead of her reading books to me at night, and that was how I learned how to read. We sat down and we would get out a book and I would start learning how to read the words. That's why I think it's funny nowadays because they're like, oh, your child shouldn't know how to read until they're like 6 or 7, and I'm like, wait a minute, I knew how to read when I was 4.
Yeah,
I'm very confused, and I'm like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, we had checklists for my son. Like, you fill this list of books you read, we'll get you that game, no problem. Because I want to make sure you're able to read that game because I'm not going to sit here over your shoulder and read this thing for. I'm going to play my own game. So.
Yeah, because my daughter's the same way. Because she's 6, she's learning how to read. She's doing very well at like picking it up. And it's like I said, it's that the distance, I guess, between when we were learning and when they're learning now, and what the appropriate time to.
I just had to
Trying
find
to
stuff
teach
he
that.
wanted to read. I had to get him like these Minecraft books and stuff like that.
Well,
That was what finally caused it to click for him.
I told her that if she learns how to read before next Christmas, that I will buy her whichever Pokemon game she wants because she really wants to play Pokemon. I was like, I will buy you whichever one you want. Our plan
And to
this
be able
year
to
was
read for that. Yeah.
Yep. Our plan. Well, that was our biggest thing. Was this year our plan was to get her a Switch Lite because she wants to play video games.
Don't do
wife
that.
And I both have
Don't.
my wife and I.
No, I'm
She's
serious.
small.
I'm serious. It doesn't matter. I tell you've triggered. If Ray were here, he would have warned you that this is going to set Dan off. I don't ever. No one ever buy a Switch Lite. Just get the because
Why?
it's smaller hardware and like what if you ever want to put it on the TV? Just you want to have the option to put it on the TV. You don't have to get the OLED. Just get the regular Switch.
I hate to tell you, but nowadays they have docks for that actually put a Switch Lite on TV. That's
true.
Technology is advancing, and I don't care because my wife has a normal Switch and I have a Switch OLED. If my daughter ever wants to play something on a television,
you're all set. Cloud
she's gonna be
storage,
playing-
family plan, all that. You're good. Okay.
Well, no. So my primary account sits on my wife's Switch because I don't ever play my Switch offline unless it's a cartridge.
Again, I can do a dissertation for you on this if you'd like. If anybody needs an understanding of how the ridiculous digital plans work for Nintendo with their digital games, you basically just walk through it there. But I'll happily help. But yeah, that's obnoxious.
But yep. So I think that was the biggest thing for me. It was my first game outside of a platformer that I learned how to read and understood, and I enjoyed it. And I have played quite a few Final Fantasy since then. I haven't played all of them though, which I'm very disappointed in myself.
This is an all timer though. Like 3 is one of the you got 3 and 7 are two of the top picks in this.
I've played 3. I've played 7. I've played 10, 10-2.
You got to get
13.
9 in there. 9's an underrated one.
13. I haven't played. Actually, I think I tried 9, and I didn't care for it as much as.
That's me with 8.
So we did the little book. Well, did you guys actually did the book club on 8?
No, we never got to it.
Yeah, they were supposed to do a book club on it, and I started playing it, and it was funny because everyone was flabbergasted when Squall showed up in Kingdom Hearts, and I had no idea who he was. I was like, okay, I don't know who this guy is. That's cool, because I had never played it until we brought this up.
Why is David Boreanaz moping on my screen in Kingdom Hearts right now?
It's like I have no idea who this person is. But yeah, I think I didn't care for 9 as much because I played 10 and 10-2, and then I went back to try 9, and I was.
It's too late by then. Yeah, you crossed the threshold. That's interesting. You should check out though. They have the Pixel remaster. Put that on a wish list somewhere. You can get those first 6 games localized now for the US, which will be confusing to you because 3 will be 6 in that collection. But they've got those original games on there, which are still worth like Final Fantasy 1. Especially still holds up too.
I played 1. I just recently, I think it was 2 years ago, I played 1 on my phone because you can buy them on your phone now. So
yeah.
I played 1 and 2 on my phone because they're $5 a piece. I was like, cool, whatever. So
I picked up Tactics
one,
that way too.
3.
I just wanted to play Tactics and couldn't find anywhere else. I just got it on my phone. Yeah.
Well, Matt's the man to talk to about finding.
No evidence. Can we not leave evidence here? I don't need this to be used in discovery.
No. I just said finding any game you want to find. Matt's the expert. He can find you any game you want to play.
There's statute of limitations aren't up for things I could refer to with some of Matt's hookups through the years. Moving on. Okay.
I mean, honestly, Matt could probably open the top drawer of his dresser right there and find and probably find you like every single Star Wars game ever made.
Maybe not. I don't know. I'm not putting it on a recording.
What are you? Back off.
Do you have this Episode 1 pod racers game? Just pulls it out of the lock drawer.
No Republic credits.
Oh, is this kind of movie reference? Ray's not here to yell at me for a movie reference. Move on to the future. Move on to the future, Matt. Hey, it's Dan here with a fresh ad break to let you know that one of our own, they go by Destroy the Grave on channel3.gg, but they are known professionally when they record as Caster Garden. Caster Garden dropping a new recording, controllers and cartridges, coming to Spotify September 30th. You go to c3.gg/castergarden. It will take you directly to their Spotify page. Not only will you hear their wide range of music, some smooth, some relaxing, some with a little extra intensity, but you'll hear guest spots from users like You Exorcist and the founder himself, Joel Willis. Go ahead, make sure you head to c3.gg/castergarden and listen to the new recording, controllers and cartridges. Six fresh tracks ready to go. And again, guest spots from fellow Channel 3 users. Check it out, the c3.gg/castergarden.
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future. Back to the Future is one game you are looking forward to, and sticking with the theme, you went with the remake of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3.
Yes, I'm looking forward to this for many, many reasons, because this is the second game that it's kind of it is going to. So this is the second game in the Modern Warfare kind of Infinity Ward set that is going to have a type of survival game. This one's going to have zombies. The zombies is made by Treyarch, so Treyarch and Infinity Ward are working together, which is great. I don't know why it never happened before, except for Extinction. So that's what I'm looking forward to. An open world zombies game that has an extraction element similar to the DMZ game mode that everyone is enjoying now. I'm looking forward to that because the most recent release with Cold War being like, it had Blackout, which was the large, and it wasn't necessarily open world, but there were very large scale maps, and then you teleported to different worlds throughout the game mode. But this one's one set big open world map that you play zombies on. So I'm looking forward to playing that with my wife quite a bit, because at this point, all the old zombies are getting kind of boring. I'm tired of playing the same maps over and over and over and over and over and over again. Yeah, we there's a couple of them that I have never played, and we just recently beat. But yeah, that's gonna keep me going for a while in that department. And then just the new storyline that they've kind of put together for the remakes has just blown me away. The time realism and time match to like what we could see today and what actually could happen in today's society is uncanny. So being accurate to its depiction is one of the things I like. I was, for everybody that doesn't know, I'm a veteran. I enjoy war history. I enjoy different facets of modern war memorabilia and different weapon system stuff. So that, like, when a game says Modern Warfare and it is time accurate, it tickles my fancy a little bit.
So what's interesting is, I had played through 2 and the storyline really gripped me, and then I tried playing through 3 and I dropped it part way. It sounds like they're making some changes to the way that the stories are being told or what's included.
Yeah, so the new cool thing about this one coming up is they're trying to innovate a little bit, and they're doing it's kind of like a loadout based story mission. So essentially, there are certain missions that I think they're called open combat missions, if I'm correct, and they essentially, you can go in silent, like you can set up your loadout, you can go in with all suppressed weapons, you can go in silent and complete the objective that way, or you can go in, like, you can equip a grenade launcher and an LMG and go in guns blazing. And that changes the aspect on how that mission is going to be played, and while accomplishing, I'm guessing, the same, if not almost the exact same objective, just in different ways. So if you're a Splinter Cell type of person that enjoys stealth combat and stuff like that, then those missions are going to cater more towards you. But if you're like somebody that just wants to go in Duke Nukem style and just blow everything up and start flipping people off, then that's going to be your shtick. So they're really opening it up and innovating it, because there's not any other shooter that's really done that, that's giving you that option. And that's the biggest thing that a lot of people complain about when it comes to shooting games as a whole in their campaigns, is it's usually a fixed set loadout. So you being able to take in whatever you prefer for that mission is a really good change.
So, with that said, did you play the original one a lot, or are you just looking forward to this new version?
I've played through all of them except for like Call of Duty 1, 2, like the big one or whatever. Yeah, like the original Call of Duties. I didn't play through like 1 and 2, like World at War, Modern Warfare, the original, and Modern Warfare 2, and then these most recent adaptations. I've played through all of those, and I really enjoyed this most recent remake because it's a different story. It's a different story with the same characters, which is what I think a remake should be.
All right. Well, on to a quest. We take a question from the Channel 3 history books and pick it for you here to discuss. Recently, actually, their podcast episode will have been last week by the time you hear this. We have a user who goes by Dennis2130, and he suggested a series of quests to us where we take video game characters and pit them against each other, not in a Smash Brothers style, not in a straight fight, but in ridiculous situations. So we went with Mario versus Sonic, for instance, in a debate. Who would win a debate? But this week, so it'll be a little bit after you hear this recording, we proposed a question here and asked, in the NFL Combine, who would do better, Meowscles or Fish Stick from Fortnite, and why?
Oh yeah, I did answer that. So Meowscles, that man would make a hell of a quarterback. He's got that like Tom Brady build. He's got like the slightly built biceps with like the skinny limber like forearms and like a little bit of a chest, but not too much. He's not too big.
It's the TB12 Tom Brady, not the Combine Tom Brady. Then
exactly.
Yeah, I did want to ask you though, but you also had mentioned your being that achievement trophy, certainly a topic of discussion that's come up with you plenty of times previously elsewhere. I have to ask you, what your favorite game achievement trophy? What was that one?
My favorite gamer achievement trophy. Well, so there's a running joke. I don't own a PlayStation anymore.
Not everyone's perfect. It's okay.
And I only have one platinum trophy, and it is in the most rat-plattiest game of all time that a couple of our other friends find to be like their prize-winning game that's ever been made. It's called My Name is Mayo. So it is my only platinum trophy, and the whole premise of the game is tapping a mayo jar. You tap the lid of a mayo jar the whole time. That's all it is. And you just sit there. It's like a visual novel essentially, but you try to hit the button as fast as you can so you can get through it. And then it's funny. It's actually kind of funny, and it's kind of creative because it after you tap the mayo jar, it puts a different outfit on, and it does like some obscene things. Like one was like wearing a cow udder with a bikini and stuff. It was just like something off the wall. It's just a mayo jar with with cow udders and a bikini on, and you're just tapping the lid. Just tap the lid.
How long does the game take?
I think it's like 2,500 taps. So however long it takes you to hit 2,500, you hit your X button 2,500 times, and then like click through all of like the challenges, because you have to go through the challenges and see like you have to tap this mayo jar with this outfit on like 10 times, and then this one with this one 50 times, and then this one 100 times, and then this one. I think it took me a total of like 33 minutes of just not stopping tapping the X button.
33 minutes for a platinum trophy. There you go, people.
Oh, it would take Daryl and Tricky even less than that, because and they just flip their little switch and just hit it once and just.
This is why I don't earn platinums. The whole system's devalued.
I honestly did it just so they would get off of my back, because I'd never gotten a platinum, and I think there's only one game on the Xbox that I've gotten the complete 1,000 Gs on, and it's Apex. So it's a bro game. It's not like a real like RPG hardcore game. So they just give me crap. So now I technically have 1,000 Gs on one and a platinum on the other, and that's it.
Nice. Well, we're now onto that part of the show that I've listened to enough that I know that Ray and Dan like to ask their guests, what's your favorite Channel 3 feature?
So I honestly really like the post of the day. Your post of the day is probably one of my favorite things, because that lets you scroll around and recognize somebody for something either creative or something that motivated you for the day. I think I've given Dan. I've probably given Dan a couple. I know I've given Joel quite a few, but Joel's the one that kind of.
Yeah, he's
Kinda
Joel Stocky. It's amazing. Joel creates the post of the day system, and here he is running the table on it. You know,
right? And then it was funny too because I just hopped into one of Joel's Twitch streams for the first time, and it was ironically enough the end of this last season's wheel spins. And I was at work, so I caught like the last 10 or 15 minutes of it. And he was like, "Oh, hey, did you know you get a wheel spin?" And I was like, I knew I had one. I had no idea if I won anything or did anything. And he was like, "Oh yeah, you won." And of course, I don't want anything cool like a tagline or a GIF. I get to give everybody else XP. Why do I want to do that? I like being up there on the leaderboard. I think I've given you and Matt both my 2000s that I picked up from last season.
Hey, you gotta save those. You get people sucking up to you in this XP race. You get people getting close to a wheel spin. They're gonna go for it. You know.
Well, I got 3000 XP to give somebody this season.
Challenge somebody to a little bonus duel there, and make them come get it. Take it from your cold dead hands.
They can take it from my Marvel Snap at cold dead hands.
Oh, don't!
Oh dear!
Ooh,
no, we're not talking about Marvel Snap. No, that's a whole different podcast.
Yeah, you want to get people riled up. There's White Thunder's going to come looking for you the second this is over, assuming he's not somewhere in the Arctic Circle when this drops.
It's gonna be a Yu-Gi-Oh! One-turn kill. You're never going to make it to round 6.
Oh yeah. He's just going to drop Galactus on turn 1.
There you go.
Board go boom boom.
All right. Well, let's see if I can do Ray justice on this. But thank you, Zach. You can find him on Channel 3 under the Bearded Nerd, where 3s are in the place of E's on Bearded and Nerd. That's the best way I can explain that. You can find the podcast at c3.gg/podcast, dropping every Wednesday at 3:33 a.m. I have not been Ray. I have been Ender Phoenix with Dan, who puts this whole thing together. Executive producer Joe Willis. Thank you, everybody.